Why are you so convinced that this time is different?
Because they've taken a pounding. They've taken a pounding like very few people could take. And they want to make the deal a lot more than I do. And we could have had it done the other way, I guess, but it would have taken longer. They got hit very hard recently, as you know. And I don't like to have to do things that way, but I felt it was necessary. It's a great deal for the United States and for the Middle East, and I think ultimately great for Iran because they'll be able to build up their country and their country. I really believe it's a regime change because I find these people to be much more rational than the people that are no longer with us. We knocked out the first team of leadership, the second team of leadership. This is a different group. This is a different level, and I think it's frankly a smarter level, and it's a level that has reason. And they've all approved the deal. Everybody's approved the deal. Now we'll get it finished up, and hopefully that'll be done. We will not have Iran having a nuclear weapon, which is very important to these people behind me. We can talk about fishing. There won't be anybody to fish. The fish will still be around. I guess they're probably going to be affected too. We're not going to let it happen. So Iran will essentially, most important paragraph to me, Iran will in no way, shape, or form have a nuclear weapon or purchase a nuclear weapon. That the strait will officially open as soon as we sign, which could be soon, very soon, maybe over the weekend. In Europe, I won't be able to be there, but JD will be there, Vice President, and some of the people. Steve Witkoff did a great job, Jared. So we'll take some questions.
On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Hopefully I can talk, too. We'll find out how that goes. A lot going on with the Iran war. We got pretty much, it looks like maybe an ending of it. Now, again, we're seeing the media trying to screw with this. We're seeing the IRGC or whoever trying to screw with this. They've called that out, and we'll get to that here in a second. But Donald Trump put this out. He said, based on the fact that discussions with the Islamic Republic of Iran have been brought to the highest level of Iranian leadership and approved, I have, as President of the United States of America, canceled the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran this evening. Discussions and final points have been, in both concept and great detail, approved by all parties involved, including the United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia, blah, blah, blah. Time and place of the signing to be announced shortly. Now, again, we had a lot of people that were coming out and saying all sorts of crazy stuff. And every single time there's been any sort of movement towards a peace deal, we've seen this happen. And they try to essentially sabotage the peace deal. This is the deep state at work. They don't want this peace deal happening. They are losing hugely important tools in their toolbox. They don't have much else they can use. So Trump posted this. The terms that Iran leaked out to the fake news have nothing to do with the terms that were agreed to in writing. What they said, including their weak and pathetic statements on having a deal, bears no relation to the truth. Very dishonorable people to deal with. With them, there is no such thing as dealing in good faith. Amazing. Also, their totally rebuffed drone attack last night against Indian ships leaving the Hormuz Strait is totally unacceptable. They better get their act together, and fast. And for those of you that aren't sure what he's talking about, the IRGC tried to attack with drones a Indian ship. They were all shot down and stopped. There were no drones that made it to the ship. The ship was perfectly fine and sailed right through. I was suspecting, and still am, that we are using AH-64 attack helicopters and likely even possibly some of the A-10s to keep these straits sort of clean while ships are transiting. This might have been one of those moments. We also get confirmation from Mr. Aragchi. Let's pretend I said that right. The Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding has never been closer. Pending its finalization, the media should refrain from entering speculation about its contents. In line with our responsible and transparent approach, all details will be shared with the public in due course. And that is what's happening. We definitely have things moving in the right direction. Now, Bill Hemmer and whoever the hell the blonde chick is, they are going to be talking about the 5 key points of the deal. And that's exactly what we expected from Donald Trump.
claiming a deal with Iran has been approved at the highest level. A White House official is telling Fox Iran's nuclear material will be destroyed and removed. Its nuclear program will be dismantled. None of their sanctioned money will be released until they carry out the terms of the deal. The Strait of Hormuz will be open, and Iran will not provide any funding for terrorist groups. But the regime is publicly insisting that nothing's been finalized, with some key issues still on the table.
So President Trump saying this on True Social a moment ago. Here we go now. Read it all to you. The terms that Iran leaked out to the fake news have nothing to do with the terms that were agreed.
Right, well, we don't have to repeat what I just read to you guys. That's not a good use of time, but yes. There you go. So we had those 5 deals, pretty sweet terms. Hopefully that works out. 8647 message has been carved into the National Mall grass, apparently days before Trump's birthday. You can see the 8 and the 7 pretty good. You can kind of see where the 4 and the 6 are. They seem to have used specific, it's got a circular thing. So whatever the case was, these individuals, and the Secret Service is already looking into it, these individuals will likely be caught. They would be amazed. People would be amazed at the kind of surveillance that exists in the Capitol. It is probably the most heavily surveilled city in the United States, I would say. Maybe to be argued with stuff up in the Washington State area. I know around Microsoft they had a lot of stuff going on around there, trying to make it a smart city way back in the day. Donald Trump pissed at Jamie Raskin, matey, for many good reasons. He says Jamie Raskin, a loser in life, who worked endlessly during my first term to impeach me and failed miserably, wasting the country's money, time, and effort, will guaranteed be trying to do it again, despite one of the most successful presidencies in history. The last one that went after me on impeachment was a pathetic soul, Al Green, who just lost his race in a landslide to an unknown candidate, but, in my opinion, one that had more talent than Raskin. He spent time on the unselect committee of political hacks and thugs and was rebuffed on that, just as he has been rebuffed on impeachment and many other things. If Biden didn't give him a pardon, he'd be in jail right now. Something should be done about people like this who do bad things but always come up on the short end because of their illegal or unscrupulous behavior and hurt our country in the process. I agree with Mark Levin when he says, expel the bum. Congress can never be great with people like this who suffer massively from Trump derangement syndrome. Now, here's what's kind of interesting. This is an impossibility right now to do, but the talk of it is kind of up there with like the Brunson case. It's a talk that's worth having. Because after this election, though, right now, the media, the deep state, is desperately spinning it that they are going to somehow make progress. Even the GOP is talking about the potentiality of Trump being impeached if they get control. They're doing that on purpose. Talk weak when you're strong. That's exactly what they're doing. Let the Dems think. Let the Dems think. Let them think that they've got this in the bag. And then when they come to find out, they don't. Oops. A lot is happening. So they are moving the needle in the right direction. We could very easily take 2/3 of the House, which would make something like this actually possible. And on top of that, we're probably going to make some headwind in the Senate, and those that are still left behind will have had a very strong warning given to them. And I would say there's a chance to end up with some more people like a Fetterman who would likely be involved in helping with stuff like this. So we are moving in that direction. Although it's not going to happen just yet, I think we've got some excitement coming here in the summer for sure. And actually, it seems like right now, because, man, people are losing their ever-loving minds. It is crazy what's happening right now. U.S. Attorney in California suspects voter fraud investigations will result in charges. I thought I had some video of him talking, but I do not. It appears here. But I might somewhere else for some reason. I feel like I've got something somewhere. But yeah, there is likely going to have some arrests. This will be some of the proof. They wanted proof. They needed proof. You have no proof that any of this stuff's happened. Well, it's actually coming. It is definitely coming. Now, this is fantastic. The USPS, the United Postal Service, they are a federal agency. They are a federal government. I believe they're under the executive branch, for that matter. They're funded by Congress, yes, but controlled by the executive branch. They're proposing a new rule requiring states to share voter information related to mail-in absentee voting. The proposal follows a March executive order from Trump aimed at tightening regulations governing mail-in voting in federal elections. This is fascinating. Trump has made election integrity a central focus, of course. Several of those initiatives have faced legal challenges, as we've seen. Under this proposed rule, states would submit lists of voters requesting mail-in ballots along with personalized barcodes assigned to each ballot. Each ballot would have a specific barcode, unique barcode. The Postal Service would then return a finalized mail-in and absentee participation list to each state's chief election official. The list would contain the names of approved voters and the corresponding ballots barcodes associated with each voter. Under the proposal, only voters included on the final participation list would be eligible to receive mail-in or absentee ballots. Verification to a degree via the Postal Service, and specifically, barcodes that, if duplicated or copied, will show up. And if we suddenly have the same barcode showing up multiple times, well, we'll have an idea of what happened. And depending on how they make those copies, we could very well know exactly where it was done. This is a fascinating idea. Now, would they fight it by the courts? I don't know. Interesting. I don't know how this one's going to go. Postal Service issued the proposal May 29th, one day after Trump appointed U.S. District Judge Carl J. Nichols denied a request from Democratic plaintiffs seeking to block the administration's mail-in voting executive order. So far, this is moving forward. We'll see what happens. That's pretty fantastic. SpaceX, biggest IPO ever, $135 a share, making this the most expensive company ever on the planet. This is the most expensive IPO ever by like over half. Every single one of your guys' 401ks just paid a bunch of money to be a part of this. What we've done to a large extent is generated a lot of money for SpaceX. 1.77 trillion is their valuation now. That's more than most countries on this planet. That's insane. Wow, it's just, yeah, it's astronomical. So all that said, $75 billion is what they're basically raising. Their plan is, it's also going to make Elon Musk the first trillionaire. Like that was needed. Right? Because of his stock holdings, he's just shy of $1 trillion, but I think with everything that's going to be said and done and the stock price change that's going to happen because of all the forced 401k and IRA purchasing of this fund, it's going to push it well up over $1 billion. All the people that are having to buy it now, you guys are getting in at the wrong time. And we'll see how this all plays out. I think a lot of people really think this is the future, and it might be. I just don't think this technology is. So it seems strange to me, but maybe this is the way it's got to progress, right? I'm not gonna pretend I understand how that movement should happen. Chemical rockets seem like a really weird way to be doing things when we know, well, we understand anyways, that there is definitely technology that's far superior. Whatever the case is. Crude oil prices have gone down $84. It's the lowest they've been in a very long time. And obviously the world finally agrees that the war with Iran is probably over. So even gold and silver are having a big day. Silver's up $3.84 so far. Again, this is going to be a thing. As the oil drops, the prices are going to go up. Oil is expected to get down to around 60 again, maybe even lower. That is going to cause gold and silver to go up a lot. CPI, remember, is up a bunch. A lot of that's going to be energy related. So we've got some extra inflation. It's inflation that's basically going to go away, which is going to make Trump look good come election time because inflation will have come way down. A lot of this, I think, is sort of meant to happen when it did. Trump knew it would affect the stock prices. He actually thought it would affect them worse than they did, and they're at the highest ever. Dow Jones is sitting at 51,615 right now. It's the highest ever. S&P's right around its highest. NASDAQ's getting, it's basically about to bust 30 grand, which is incredible. It's going up like mad because probably the SpaceX thing. So again, crypto's even up. It was up a little earlier. Let's see what it's actually sitting at the moment. Crypto is what I was kind of curious about. I'm like, what? So what happens to crypto when everything else moves like it's supposed to? And yeah, it seems like people are pulling from crypto to invest into other stuff right now. I think there's a lot of people that are getting into SpaceX. I just don't. I don't necessarily recommend it, guys. I think it'll settle at a point and maybe get some then, but I don't know if now's the time to get in. I think it's a little pricey. Yeah. If you're in a 401k or an IRA, I'm telling you that we got 2 more IPOs that are coming up. They're going to be creating these bubbles. These bubbles are just, they have to put a bunch of money and create a bunch of money somehow so they can be competitive. Problem is when the stuff doesn't pan out quite the way it should or actually work out to where it generates enough income like it should, then it becomes really hard to pay off that debt, and then they tend to have problems in the meantime. We're going to see that happen with OpenAI and Anthropic. They're the next 2 that are going to be on the list. Stock prices are going to go up and up and up because of that. We've got 2 companies that are going to be dropped into the NASDAQ, just like SpaceX was, replacing a smaller company, right? They're going to take the bottom guy, get rid of him. Screw him. He's the bottom guy. And they're bringing in now a $1.77 trillion SpaceX. And soon to OpenAI and Anthropic are probably going to be just many, many billions of dollars as far as their worth, which is going to cause the valuation of the NASDAQ to go up. Now, these numbers are bullshit. You know it, I know it. But what's funny is Joe Public doesn't know it. So we're going to be heading into an election with the highest stock prices ever. Odds are some of the safest cities in some places, maybe after a Summer of Love, which I think we do have brewing. But we are going to see this stock market have its day. And Trump doesn't want that to affect elections, so it's almost got to come after that. So we've got this period of time, and here's what's up. Silver and gold are going to go up. Silver is expected to hit close to 300 by the end of the year. And we're definitely now on track to easily see that happen. In fact, I'll be surprised if we're not over 100 by the end of next week. Especially if this deal is signed over the weekend, we could see prices spike pretty quickly. Hopefully gas prices come down, by the way. That'll be another thing that we can victory lap on the election time. Because now Iran doesn't have a nuke. Yeah, it sucked for a little bit, I know. But they don't have a nuke now, and all the prices are back down to where they should be. Prices of eggs are super cheap, and we've got no nukes, and we've got this wonderful situation where oil's back down where it should be, energy's back down where it should be, inflation's back down where it should be. Then the Fed, gold's going to destroy the Fed. Again, that's just going to creep up behind the scenes. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Again, you're getting forced invested if you're in a 401k or IRA. The deep state's moving your money where they want to. If you want to be a part of that, be a part of that. That's your choice. This is one of the reasons why I got out of it. I didn't like where they were using my money. I didn't like how they were using my money. I like the fact that I'm actually invested in something that protects my buying power. One coin, back in the day, 1915, cost me $30, Federal Reserve notes, 1 gold coin. Today, 1 gold coin and 30 Federal Reserve notes. Well, back then it would buy me a handmade tailored suit. Like, you guys know the analogy. Today, it still buys me a handmade tailored suit. The gold coin does. $30 does not. Back then, it bought me a handmade tailored suit. Today, maybe a dinner at a fast food restaurant. Silver's right now at 70. And again, it's just going to go up. That was it. We saw the bottom. That was the bottom. This is the time to get out of the 401k and the IRA, especially before the Anthropic and all that crazy stuff starts to happen. Yes, you're going to see the stock market come up, but inflation's still taking a bite out of your buying power, and this is the lowest that gold and silver is going to be, which is you essentially buying as much buying power with today's money as you can. So the more of that you can get, the better. And that's only going to go down from this point forward as far as the inflation curve with the price of gold, silver, and everything else. These things are going to start to equalize. Go to DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system, tax-free, penalty-free. Transition that into precious metals. They've got the most precious metals suppliers out there out of anybody. These people are the best. They've got 5-star reviews across the board for a reason, and heavily attacked by the competition for a reason. Literally, people post stuff in my comments trying to badmouth this company. That's how good they are. That's how good they are. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Go with the best. They've got DocuSign. They can help you get this done. Multiple suppliers. They're going to get you the best deal that you can get. You're also going to get up to 10% free gold and or silver. I think you can get both. One or the other or both. So say you're moving $100,000 protecting that, you're going to get $10,000 of gold or silver or both added to the deal. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. And if you can make the call and you have an actual plan within 20 minutes, when you put in your 4 data points and mash the button, a phone number will pop up. If you can call that and you have a legit plan, ask them about the 5 grams of free silver that Dan talked about and watch where that conversation takes you. Go to DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that crap system before it eats a lot of what you're trying so hard to protect. Spencer Pratt put this out. There's a lot of interesting posts that came around this, but he did put this out. He says, "Are they done counting yet?" Posted this yesterday. And again, there's all sorts of discussions happening. The hummingbird thing actually struck me as very, very cool because a hummingbird has just recently made its nest in the rose bush I have down by my dining room. And it's right by the window, and I can see it, and it's just pretty cool. And hummingbirds have always been a very special symbol for me. Certainly them and dragonflies are two in particular that are very, very cool. So anyway, that was like a cool little moment for me this morning. But yeah, Democrats can't win without cheating. Again, a lot of people are just very aware of what's happening right now, which is super important. Donnie Cope posted this. Tens of thousands of Spencer Pratt voters are now receiving rejection letters from the county clerk saying their ballots were not counted due to signature irregularities. Yet, Governor Gavin Newsom just passed legislation that would make it illegal for anyone conducting oversight to contest signatures that they deemed fraudulent. Democrats allow ballots to be signed with an X or a dash or a happy face to pass and count. But all of a sudden, only Republican signatures are being flagged for irregularities, rejected, and not counted. One of these California Republican voters said that his signature has been on file for over 20 years, and there has never been an issue until he voted for Spencer Pratt. Medium Ramen has beaten Spencer Pratt by less than 3,000 votes. There are at least 18,000 Pratt voters who received this letter saying their votes were rejected. Cheating's happening on so many different levels, and people are seeing it. Crisis is coming closer, so they're talking about Social Security projected insolvency has moved forward a year. Please keep in mind that this is based off of the continued fraud. If the fraud ends or starts to diminish, or we just stop letting people in Minnesota get Social Security and people in California to get Social Security, either way, it becomes solvent very quickly. Very quickly. If we continue to give it away, yeah, we're not going to last very long. That's going to piss off some people. Jerry Seinfeld said something really funny. This guy, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to play the part where Jerry says what he's funny, and then these two idiots talk to themselves about how amazing this is. But the reality is it's actually hilarious. Because one, Jerry Seinfeld's Jewish. 2, he's in the entertainment industry. 3, he's actually been known to not be real fond of the woke thing. In fact, he dislikes woke. And did I mention he's Jewish? Anyway, they asked him a very funny question. And, well, not a funny question, a typical question. But his answer was ironic, not funny.
That's the older. Oh, Jerry Seinfeld. What up, Seinfeld? What up? Can we get a free Palestine? Can we get a free Palestine? Come on, give us one free Palestine.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. He doesn't even acknowledge the existence of Palestine. That's pretty funny. And just the fact that they're asking a Jewish guy that very same question. And then, yeah, they just glorify themselves, pat themselves on the back. I'm surprised they didn't actually injure shoulder muscles. You should try Healthy Home Stem Active if you do, by the way. It'll definitely help. All right, so we got a lot of fired up people right now. And it's very strange what is happening. There's people that are being intentionally motivated into violence. There are people of mixed races, but right now in America, it seems predominantly heavily on the black community. They're trying to spin the racism into the white community. It doesn't stick the same way. There are definitely racist people in the white community, unquestionably, but there's also a huge number of racist people in the black community. I know they say you can't be racist, but whatever the case is prejudice, and it's taught to children, and children that grow up thinking all white people are racist, they learn that from their parents, right? And white people that teach their kids that all black people are whatever, N-words or something like that, then yeah, that's taught. That's stupid. That's ignorance. And ignorance on either side is stupid. Period. Don't care what anyone says. Don't care what names they call. And that's one of the fun things at this point, is name calling really doesn't work anymore. I mean, it ruins relationships, but it doesn't hurt anymore. It's not that anymore. It's dangerous, as they continue to try to dehumanize people just so they can kill them. I mean, Charlie Kirk, they keep trying to threaten to do that to other people. It's insanity what's happening. This is Austin Metcalf's father. I didn't realize Austin Metcalf was a twin, which is really sad, but he's talking about his last experiences with his son.
You said, people think that grief is sadness, but it's not, it's rage.
Oh.
Pure, unfiltered rage. You failed yourself, you failed your parents, you failed society, you don't belong in this community.
When I woke up this morning, it was a very different feeling. When I woke up, I felt like 1,000,000 pounds had been lifted off my shoulders. Because I used to wake up every morning with this anxiety, with this feeling of dread. And this morning was the first day I woke up with a feeling of peace, comfort, tranquility that I haven't experienced in 14 months. And I felt Austin. What killed me was the body cam footage when I could hear Hunter screaming. Oh God, my brother, my twin. You know, as a parent, you always want to protect your kids. And to hear my son and the fear in his voice, and I'm not there to fix it.
What was it like sitting in that courtroom with Carmelo Anthony for 5 or 6 days?
Challenging is the first word that comes to my mind. And I'll even say this. I had a little bit of sorrow because I'm human. And that poor boy is fixing to experience a life that I would not wish upon anyone.
That's extraordinarily important to hear. There's so many people that wish evil on others. Even if evil's happened to you, even if evil's happened to a friend of yours, what you wish on another, you wish on yourself. There's no way around that. There's no guiding it. Again, if you're defending your life and someone's attacking you, that's a very different story. But careful what you send out to the universe. It comes back tenfold. And I'm not saying this happened for that reason, but like he's saying, he's feeling pity and empathy for sure for the individual that made a mistake for sure. Now, it's really strange how, like, Carmelo Anthony is the guy. Anthony is the boy that pulled the knife out of the bag and stabbed the gentleman in the chest because he was under their tent during the rainstorm and wouldn't leave during the massive rainstorm. So Carmelo Anthony's father pushes a huge lie on national television. He said the jury for his son was all white. It's not true. There were 6 minorities total on the full 18-person panel. 12 jurors plus 6 alternates. The jury that decided his son's fate included Asian, Hispanic, and Middle Eastern Indian jurors. There were also 3 qualified black prospective jurors who were struck during selection because they expressed difficulty with convicting a young black man even if he was found guilty. Think about that for a second. As a black person, I can't convict somebody that literally murders someone else because they're black. That's the absolute definition of racism. If a white person ever said that, and maybe back in the day it was like that, but it's sure as hell not like that anymore. Except some small pockets and scattered here and there, that's not normal. Now, I'm hoping the black community isn't like this across the board. I don't think so. I think there's some very racist pockets. And this is where these people tend to go in with the cameras and try to get people there to talk because they say the crazy shit. This, unfortunately, seemed to have happened in one of those particular areas. So the father's lying about a bunch of crap. Now the father's also crying poverty. Can't afford anything. We want to appeal this. We want to appeal this. They think it was just an unfortunate circumstance. And so they don't think that their child should have to go to jail for killing another individual. It was just an unfortunate circumstance. They asked him to leave and he wouldn't leave. So what else are you going to do? That's insane. So they're hoping to appeal it. I think this is their way of trying to get more money because their Give, Send, Go was turned off because now the trial's over. And they had made $635,000 through that Give, Send, Go. They bought a $900,000 home, supposedly bought a new car as well, and had security because they feared for their lives, were afraid someone might do to them what their son did to another. I can totally understand that thinking, I guess, from where they're coming. But these are the parents of the individual that did what he did. And come to find out, they're kind of slimy in their own way, it seems. Capitalizing off their son murdering another child. Now he's going to go to jail for a very long time. This is Texas. They're lucky they didn't decide to throw a brick at him. Now here is a black father of 5 talking about that lady who's a grandmother of 5 boys. Well, he has some words of wisdom for all of us.
What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do at this point? What? I'm lost for word. I don't know what to do. I got 5 boys. I don't know what. I ain't got nothing to tell them no more. You can't walk away no more. What do you want us to do?
I also had 5 boys. She doesn't know what to do after the Carmelo incident. Like what to tell her sons, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and try something. Today, boys, when you go out into school, don't stab any other kids. You think you guys can do that? You feel good about that, Lee? You feel good about that, Ace?
Yeah.
Oh, you're Aunt Cheryl. This is Ace. So, is that a good commitment from everybody? We're not going to stab any kids today?
Probably not.
Hey, try that, lady. That might work.
I don't know if you guys have ever worked at like workplaces where they have not violence, there's probably a lot of places like that too, but where they have like accidents, workplace accidents. So a lot of the times it'll be like number of days since last workplace accident, right? And never want to see a 0. That's always bad. It's like fudge. It's like number of days since stabbings. It's 1 or 2. It's not funny. Again, I make jokes when things are uncomfortable. He's got good advice. Hey kids, no killing, right? Like let's not kill today. How about that, right? We'll see how tomorrow comes. So Austin Metcalf's family. This is the gentleman who was killed. Oh wait, no, yeah. Sorry, Austin Metcalf is the gentleman that died. His family's reportedly received numerous death threats. Death threats. What did they do wrong? Other than allow their son to be stabbed by another individual. Arguably one of the strangest things that has happened. This is like a reverse George Floyd. And white people are just not wired to go run out. I mean, we'll put pussy hats on our heads, apparently, but we will not go out and like this kind of thing. That's not our style. It's just not how we roll. Now progressives, they're different. Like if septum ring somehow puts some sort of weird, like jacked up thing. That's probably partially why they do that. There's probably some weird like electrochemical thing that happens when you put a septum ring in. I don't know. I'm almost wondering. I bet you there is some sort of like it changes the circuitry. Maybe think about it. Like left, right, stuff like that matters. I don't know. There's something about it because people with septum rings, right? That's like a That's an interesting one. So Carmelo Anthony's family can no longer fundraise off Austin Metcalf's death, at least as of the time at the end of the trial. But now they're trying to fundraise for an appeal, it sounds like. So that's what it sounds like they're trying to do, is get around this whole thing and try to get more money. These guys are totally just raking in the money. It's like their son murders someone, and now they've made $684,000 in a reasonably short period of time. I don't know if they've got to pay anything tax-wise on that. I think they're donations, so I don't know if it's, I don't know. It's not a, what is that, the 501c or whatever that one is, whatever that crap is? Yeah, whatever. It seems strange. D.C. police arrest 3 teens suspected involved in violent assault in the Chipotle in the Navy Yard. You guys remember this crazy thing? Now, I'm not trying to be racist here, but it is interesting that this is a majority of black people that are fighting. I don't necessarily see people that aren't black, but I'm hoping there's maybe Hispanics and stuff in there too. There's a white guy that doesn't seem to be throwing furniture and shit. That's weird. Huh. Wonder why. Black woman in Florida films herself walking up to some random white guy and just punches him. He just barely hurt. You can tell it's like a crap punch. Dude's like, what the hell? And then he's very racist too after. I don't need to play it. He says some pretty racist shit to her afterwards. Kind of funny. She just walked up and hits him. I mean, so whatever. I wouldn't be too happy either. I guess there's another guy here, a black man in Florida, filmed himself in an anti-white, racially motivated attack. So they're just walking around just hitting white people. I mean, that's prejudice. That's racism. We didn't do anything, guys. You stabbed one of us. You stabbed one of ours. And now you're attacking us for it. It makes no sense. You have no leg to stand on. This is insane. Now, I get they don't like the fact that their kid's going to jail, but he fucking stabbed someone and killed them. That's what happens. Yeah, but it was a misunderstanding. Well, fucking that sucks. He can think about it for 35 fucking years while he's in jail. Unfortunate misunderstandings. It sucks. Most people, when they get busted and end up in jail, consider what they did to be a bad choice. You don't get to start the game over again. As much as I love doing that, by the way, with video games. Oh, so fun. 2 masked juveniles suspected of robbed a children's lemonade stand. They seem dark-skinned as well. I don't know. It's just coincidence, I'm sure.
Scary story out of Boston. 2 masked teenage suspects remain at large after allegedly robbing a children's lemonade stand at gunpoint. Officials say the teenagers were walking around the area yesterday before threatening the kids who were selling lemonade in the area. Boston City Council member Ed Flynn saying, quote, when something as serious as this happens, we cannot downplay or ignore it, adding, there is simply no one that envisions a place where a children's lemonade stand is robbed at gunpoint as the safest city in America.
We've also had situations where literally we've had cops come to children's lemonade stands and shut them down. That's happened in some crazy places, especially if the kids seem to be like, patriotic in a positive way. Yeah, city councils, it's insanity. Now, just to say, not everybody is necessarily black that's pissed off and rioting. We've got, of course, this thing going on in Ireland. Definitely unhappy. People are trying to say it's less around the Irish being pissed about this guy like killing and the actual the people coming from other countries. I don't know. They're trying to turn it into something else. I don't know. This is RT. I don't know why they put a weird spin on this, but it is the Western world that's having issues. So they are kind of a Russian slant on things, if you will. But yeah, it's just strange. I mean, Irish, notorious for rioting. I mean, that figures. French, they like to riot too, though they put on their gay vests before they do it. But whatever, that's cool. You got to be safe when you riot. So I mean, there's certain places that are more prone to riot and certain cultures that are more prone to riot and some that are just like, really? Like, I don't think we need to riot. Some crazy news going on all over the place, frankly. This is in Maricopa County. Great news, I want to say. I don't know if it's all great. I think it's reasonably all good. We'll find out. I forgot. There's a lot of stories, folks. I can't memorize them all. America First Legal. Breaking. A Maricopa County judge just ordered the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors to appear at a hearing to show cause why they should not be adjudged in civil contempt for willful, continuing, and escalating noncompliance. And they're letting them meet remotely. But the judge is like, you need to immediately talk. So I think they're meeting today. June 15th. I'm sorry, no, Monday. So Monday, they've got to talk to the judge and explain why they somehow feel like they're allowed to not do what the court has ordered. They've got a weekend to figure it out. What are they going to tell us? What are they going to say? Or are they going to present a bunch of information all of a sudden? This will be very interesting. I'm sure we'll be talking about that next week. Likely that'll make it into the Tuesday, Thursday show for sure. Decades of censorship erased in weeks as Colorado and the feds rush to preempt court rulings. Yeah, they're pulling back on a lot of their very illegal orders that they keep trying to pass in Colorado. This was one in particular trying to say any lawyers that had access to their legal system had to promise they would never give information or help to ICE, meaning they couldn't even support in those cases. Now this, they changed. There was a little writer that was hidden on a bill that was buried on the HB 26-1276, which was signed into law by Polis like yesterday or something like that. That part undid that language. Why? Because it was illegal. And Colorado in the past 10 years has had 3 major Supreme Court losses. And they were heading for 4, 5, and maybe 6. So they rolled a couple of these things back to try to keep that from happening. So Colorado is like considered the worst when it comes to the First Amendment, unquestionably. And they've gotten beat up on by the Supreme Court because of their illegality. Their non-concern of the law. The Democrats have all kind of just ascribed to this crazy communism thing where you're allowed to just, fuck the law and I control people and you got to give me all your money and I get to tell you what to do. That's what this is about. This is extortion. This is criminal. This is slavery to the extreme. Like, you're going to force me to work my ass off and then you're going to take all of my hard work from me. Oh, okay, that sounds like fun. And if I don't work my ass off, I don't get to keep my life at all, so I end up homeless, which I know you're not actually taking care of them either because you're stealing all that money. We've got that proof coming out as well. They also had another embarrassing one, too, supposedly. Colorado did speech mandates. Let's see, 0-3 at SCOTUS in less than a decade. Yeah, what's this one about? I forgot what there's a couple in here that they mentioned. Whatever the hell. That's enough shit. Yeah, they're getting beat up on. It's pushing them back in the direction they need to go. Trump admin shuts down Mamdani's attempt to meet with a foreign leader. It was a socialist, communist guy from Colombia. He is here. He's already been told he's not allowed to leave the meeting they're doing for the UN or whatever it is. He's not allowed to leave that. If he literally does, he will be arrested. And he was going to try to meet with Mamdani outside of the UN thing. And the administration basically said, no, this dude sets foot outside of that building and doesn't go immediately straight to his hotel and then leave. We will arrest him and we will kick his ass out of this country, period. End of story. So, nope. So we'll see if Mamdani tried to meet with him inside or whatever. He wanted that badly. Several Kansas school districts are facing losing federal funds over allegedly allowing boys into girls' bathrooms. There's 3 different school districts going on in Kansas. That said, Florida, major audit identifies major fraud. $2.7 billion. Holy shit.
So far, we have exposed more than $2.7 billion with a B, in excessive and wasteful spending. Here are the numbers. The city of Jacksonville, 2 years ago, our calculations wasted $199 million of your taxpayer dollars. Last year's budget, $275, another $275 million. That's on top of the $199. In Orange County, they wasted $190 million 2 years ago. Last year, $300 million. Again, continuing to go up. The city of Orlando, $22 million. Hillsborough County, $278 million. Broward County, $189 million. Manatee County, $112 million. Miami-Dade, we were here before, $302 million. City of Miami, $94 million. Nassau County, $53. Alachua, $84. Seminole, $48. The city of Fort Pierce, $10 million. City of St. Petersburg, $49 million. Citrus County, $39 million. Flagler County, $59 million. St. Lucie County, $46 million. And the worst of them all so far, Palm Beach County wasted $344 million of your hard-earned tax dollars just 2 years ago in the 24-25 budget cycle.
Well done, right? This is happening everywhere. This is how government runs. Used to, anyways. You see, like Florida, the case they're making, if we got rid of all this fraud, we wouldn't need property tax. If there's no property tax, you can actually own your home. That would be neat. Because right now, we don't own anything. Now, there's perception of owning stuff, but yeah, no, you don't. I mean, it's, sort of a bank account, but outside of that, it is official. We got massive fraud that has been found in Los Angeles homeless agency. This is pretty bad. I think I kind of mentioned this, but this is a little more on it.
Homelessness program in Los Angeles, and they conclude that the agency lacked sufficient financial controls and safeguards of your taxpayer dollars. We get details tonight from correspondent David Smutt. Good evening, David.
Aisha, good evening to you. As of just a few hours ago, the Trump administration will no longer pay tens of millions of dollars in taxpayer money to fund the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, known as LAHSA, while this federal investigation is underway. According to a 13-page letter first obtained by Fox News, LAHSA has received nearly $1 billion from Housing and Urban Development since 2021. The letter goes on quickly to point out that Los Angeles County has withdrawn funding for the agency and that the city of LA is considering the same. The letter says, quote, HUD has evidence that LAHSA's repeated false statements and its irresponsible actions and failures, including its lack of financial management, internal controls, and safeguards against conflicts of interest, pose a threat to HUD, the public, and those living on the streets of LA. There are an estimated 43,000 homeless people living in Los Angeles. The overall issue became a central focus of the city's mayoral race, with runoff candidates Mayor Karen Bass and progressive challenger Nithya Raman both criticized over their handling of the issue. This is all part of the administration's anti-fraud task force. We reached out to LAHSA for comment, but have yet to hear back. And Mayor Karen Bass put out a statement in the last few minutes, said that she disagrees with any kind of financial management, but doesn't think taking federal funding is the right move.
Okay, David, switching gears.
Yeah, a federal lawsuit's going to come in. They're going to stop. They're going to be like, you've got to pay that money immediately. Then an appellate court's going to immediately come in and say, there's already lots of evidence to suggest fraud. No. They're going to pause that. So I can't wait to see this one play out, because you even got LA County that's pulled out, and now likely LA City, because they're facing giant issues, though they want to keep spending on homelessness. This is one of the NGOs that they just got caught big time. And this one, I bet if they follow the money on this one, it's going to go right back into a lot of politicians. Most likely, the Los Angeles City Council is my guess, because nobody likes them. Nobody likes them. They suck. Bad. MyPillow.com/OTF. They've got sweet deals going on. MyPillow.com/OTF. That OTF coupon code, it's gotten you free shipping for like 2 months now, guys. It's fantastic. And they say your entire order, so it doesn't seem like the $100. Maybe the $100 thing matters. I don't know. But it's a double blinky. They got the box side pillows, just the incredible pillow. I love the MyPillow pillow. That is what made me fall in love with this company. They've got the knife's edge, the box edge. They're both amazing. Whatever you prefer, that is your call. There is something to be said about the box edge, because when you get to the side of it, like if you like to sleep on the side of your pillow sometimes for whatever reason, maybe you're a side sleeper or whatever, sometimes the knife's edge are a little annoying because it just starts to, like, there's still sort of pillow there, but you want the edge of it, right? Yeah. I don't know. It's the best I got. I like the knife's edge. I sleep on the side of it sometimes too. I sleep all over my pillow. I mangle that thing and then just fix it the next day, and it's just as good as new. Love it. $29.98 for their Giza sheets. This is the high thread count. This is the good stuff. The good sheets. Get the good sheets. That's them right there. $29.98. They're incredible. 50% off. This is the best deal you're ever going to get. They're usually, when they give them on sale, are $39.98. That's usually what they are on sale for. And then they're like, normally $100,000. 98 cents. So yes, this is an amazing purchase. I'd highly recommend you get some of the Giza sheets at that price, because they don't ever get better than that. They just don't. So if you need some sheets, if you'd like some sheets, if you think it might be a good gift to somebody, it's a $30 gift. You got free shipping. It's a $30 gift plus tax. $30 gift. Think about that. Awesome sheets. And, you know, if they're people that like Michael and Dell, that's even better. If they don't, If they're in Minnesota, could be funny. Never know. Rev 7, great energy drink. The best towels you'll ever get. The 6-piece My Towel set. Any of their towels, by the way, are amazing. Amazing. They just are. They just literally, like, right by my shower door, I got a glass door, right? And it's got the handle. And I can't squeegee really well by the handle. So I get as close as I can. And then I take my MyPillow towel, and I literally just one wipe down, and the water is gone. You know how normally most towels, it streaks it once, right? And then you come in and you like flip it over backwards so you can get a dry side, and then maybe a third time, but you pretty much got it. They're not. They're incredible. They don't have all the chemicals. They feel different than what you're used to. I've gone into Bed Bath & Beyond and touched the nicest towels they have, and they're like weird. There's like a chemical. They're almost like I feel like I need to wash my hands after. It's weird. Not MyPillow. They almost feel like that awesome terry cloth robe that you remember. They kind of feel like that. Which is weird kind of when I first used them, but then when you actually use it as a towel, it's the best damn towel I've ever used. It just sucks water off. Like, it dries me. It's weird. I've never been dried by a towel before. It's so strange. It's so strange. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. You guys you've earned it. You've deserved it. Clinton judge blocking Paxton's lawsuit against Act Blue. I think they're going to appeal it, but they're saying that he's doing it because it's vindictive, which I find to be very strange, because Act Blue is definitely guilty of a lot of stuff. They've kind of been accused of a lot of stuff. There seems to be a lot of evidence of a lot of stuff. And just because Attorney General Ken Paxton ran a campaign against an individual that was funded by Act Blue, somehow a judge thinks he shouldn't be able to sue them? That's strange. I mean, I get you shouldn't just be able to go after whoever you want, but yeah, strange when it works against us, and how it almost always works against us and not them. Federal appeals court rules Trump admin can continue imposing this second round of tariffs until they're done. They actually said, he's probably okay on this one. We've already had the Supreme Court hint through Kavanaugh that he could use these other things too. So anyway, it basically gave Trump a kind of a pass to just do it that way. And if they've got to do a little more documentation, and that's what they find in this court case, then that's like a fix-it ticket. That doesn't stop you from doing it. John Thune, I was making points on this one. I thought, again, he's on the fence. It's going to be really hard for him to get off the fence. I kind of think he snagged on it, frankly, and I think that's kind of what he's supposed to be doing right now. He's the dude that's got to straddle the fence, because he's got rhinos that he's got to pretend and not necessarily call out, because they'll attack him. Also, everyone's got dirt on everyone's my guess, right? Like, this is just a bunch of dirty, slimy pieces of shit. And I don't know. We're watching this transition happen to a large extent. I mean, and then we just comment on it. I feel like I'm a ringside. I'm like Joe Rogan at a fight, kind of. I feel like sometimes.
That saves American lives. I have to ask the question. I mean, I can't for the life of me figure out why the Democrats continue to support policies that make this country less safe.
So now the clock ticking down. FISA facing its final hours after the House and Senate failed to keep the key surveillance program alive. And now the fallout is just beginning. We'll let you know where that stands as of this hour.
So nobody's voting for this in Congress. Nobody. Now, a lot of people in the MAGA world are under the impression that FISA, they've been spying against us. But what Trump is fighting for, and what I think is why nobody wants it, is we're using this against the deep state. There's a lot of deep state senators. There's a lot of deep state Congress members. There's a lot of people that are under investigation. They know it. They know it. They're not being told about the investigations because we don't have to tell them. This is freaking them out. Now, Thune might actually be one of the only that's actually clean, believe it or not. And I think he might be because he's the one they stuck in the front and center position. You better be squeaky clean. Like when you poop, it better just go whoop right out, man. I don't know that you're not supposed to do poop humor ever. Whoops. Trump Corps considers executive order to extend Surveillance Powers Act after House vote fails. So he might just do an executive order and extend it for, 30 days or some shit? I don't know what he can do. What'll make it funnier is if he does it that way, like, can he add any language to it? Can he do anything? And I would wonder, can he just extend it as is? And this might be what the plan was all along. I mean, there was no way it was going to get through the Senate. We knew that. The House could have passed this, but they didn't. Now, again, I think it's some of the people that are your Masseys and people like that that are getting shafted. I think Luna's actually going out with respect and dignity, so good for her. Or Macy, sorry, Nancy Mace, sorry. I don't know if Luna's won or not, or she might not have even gotten primaried. I think it was Nancy Mace that actually lost her spot. Lost her ride, as they say. DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen refuses to back down after Somali referee, and his answer was cool. And again, poor Todd Blanche, just always this guy, man, his feet have to hurt just constantly. That's gotta be the worst part. I would think that's the worst part of their job, is how much you got to sit there and stand in front of people. Like, I'm sure the second they're done with these camera things, like, I just want to go sit down for 4 seconds. Can I just go sit down for like a minute? Good God. Or just like, I got to go to the bathroom just so they can go sit down maybe. Just put the toilet seat down. I don't even have to pee, man. I just want to, just sit here for a second. Good God. No one will bug me at least. Anywho, Mark Wayne Mullen, pretty good stuff. Check it out.
In the World Cup, at least one referee from Somalia and one Iraqi team staff member were denied entry at U.S. airports in recent days, and dozens of fans have been
What did
denied.
you call it? Did you call it politics?
No.
What'd you say? I forget how you started that question.
Policies.
Yeah, policies are we're not going to allow people that have criminal or maybe perceived to have criminal ties to come into this country. I don't care what your situation is. I'm not going to get into why we denied this individual, but there's a reason why this person was denied. Now, the left media wants to go out there and report and say this guy's a victim of because we're, anti-Somalia. No, we're not. We work closely with FIFA and the administration on a regular basis. We talk to FIFA and their directors constantly. Anybody that was denied, we made the case for and showed them why they were denied. Now, to get into the specifics of it, I'm not getting into the specifics of it. But Iran chose that was a difficult path. If there was any country we wasn't going to allow in here, Iran would probably be the reason why we wouldn't allow them in here. But we did, and we worked closely with the individuals with restrictions. And so there was multiple, more than just these two, there was multiple individuals throughout. We have a World Cup here. We got a lot of countries that doesn't exactly have access to the United States, and we did a phenomenal job on getting as many people cleared as we could. But some people just can't clear. And that's just the way it works with getting a visa to come to this great country. Yes.
Thank you.
Some people suck is really what it comes down to, right? So there's that. AG Todd Blanche announces the indictments of 3 illegals who took part in a wide-ranging conspiracy to smuggle dozens of children into the United States. Again, a lot of heartstrings are being pulled right now. It's very interesting, and I'm not 100% sure why right now. The timing of it seems interesting. Maybe it's so we've got some cool victories to talk about. I feel like something's coming up in the near future where we're going to need some of these victories. I feel like the elections are far too far away. Like, people have an attention span that's 2 seconds long, so it's way too far away from the elections. So, well, I don't know. There's some elections I think that are still happening. Primaries, huh? Maybe, huh? As I think about it out loud. Maybe not the best thing to always do, but whatever. You guys, you're there with me at least, right? I hope.
Today we are announcing the indictments of 3 individuals. Maritza Kawik Koch, her brother, Carlos Agustin Kawik Koch, and Gladys Marina Call Chen. This was out of the Northern District of Ohio. All 3 are illegal aliens from Guatemala who allegedly took part in a wide-ranging conspiracy to smuggle more than a dozen children into the United States by scamming the system and exploiting the loopholes created by the last administration. This is one example, one indictment, but it is not unique. There are over 15,500 super sponsor cases that we have identified along with DHS.
15,500 super sponsor cases. 155. I'm sure there's something to that number, by the way. That's it. 15,500 super sponsor cases. Now, likely many sponsors have multiple offenses each, but still, damn. Jamaican national in North Carolina has been indicted for brazen sham marriage immigration fraud. He used a fake name, a fake union, I guess, to fast track his citizenship and then scammed VA disability benefits on top of all that. Dude got, I think, hundreds of thousands of dollars or something. Fantastic. 26-year-old Jamaican national living in Charlotte. There you go. Stuff's happening all over the place. We're just getting some of them. I think a lot of these stories are just kind of so you get that there are actually some things going on. Now, this is some really shaky evidence. I'm going to be honest, right? I'm going to call myself out on this. Shaky, shoddy, shitty evidence. But can you alliterate with sh sounds? I don't think really you can. I don't think you're supposed to anyways. I don't think that's a proper alliteration, though. It's more of a alliterating onomatopoeia or some weird shit, isn't it? I don't know, whatever, though. Happens. There are some interesting sales happening. There was actually a third one that I was going to pull in, but it was just too stupid to pull in. I couldn't. Matthew Stafford, he's a guy that plays for the Rams. Not the Los Angeles Rams anymore. Nope. Apparently the Anaheim Rams. Wait, no, I think they are the Los Angeles Rams. I'm sorry, it's the Anaheim Angels are doing that with. They used to play in the same stadium 100 million years ago. I'm just stupid when it comes to sports. I apologize. I get the sports. I understand how they play, but I don't follow anything. I don't pay attention to anything when it comes to sports at all. I love watching football. I don't even know who's doing what. I do on my own team. That's it. But I don't care. All said, dude sold 3 houses. He made a couple $100,000, a few $100,000, $600,000, whatever. One of them that he held for a few years. What I do find interesting is he's selling 3 homes that he's got in L.A. One, it would imply that Matthew Stafford maybe realizes he's not going to be in this town long. 2, to me, kind of had a little bit of that. I bet people realize there's a summer of love coming. And Los Angeles, most likely, is going to be one of the cities that burns. They wanted a smart city. I think they're going to ultimately end up getting one, but they're going to get caught doing it. So we'll probably take control of it and make it cool. But things are changing, guys. I don't know. We also got this going on. 2 classic San Francisco bars are hitting the market for really low prices. San Francisco, another city that's probably going to burn. And they're not going to get to control it. This is their flagship cities. LA, San Francisco, they're 2 flagship cities of this progressive craziness. And LA may be being a little more of that Hispanic, Latina kind of culture-y side of it, so they probably wanted to kind of give it that vibe anyways. But San Francisco is probably more the tech side, right? But yeah, 2 major bars, the Makeout Room and Latin American Club, 22nd Street stuff that's been there forever. Super famous. closing down, selling out. Again, summer of love coming. It implies to me anyways. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. I think it looks like that's happening with all the racial tensions that are being done. What's weird is they're trying so hard. If the black people are pissed off at a black guy killing a white guy and him getting in trouble, that's an awesome one. Like, it was a misunderstanding. He killed him. That's not a misunderstanding. That's called murder. Tracy medical warehouse fire sends plumes of black smoke into the air as a gas tank explodes. So they're in California. We got another crazy thing that's going on. I don't know. They make a lot of medical stuff. Well, their warehouse a bunch of medical supplies, like a lot of medical supplies. They also are part of like a number of lines that they manufacture. Anyway, there's this Medline group is huge, and this is a giant-ass warehouse. It's burning some crazy-ass dark stuff. So that just got, like, plastics and rubbers, and I don't know what's in there. That's oily something, but yeah, it's pretty bad, because there was explosions and stuff people are talking about. This has been pretty bad stuff. So yeah, this warehouse has got, well, I was going to say got smoked, but yeah. The irony of the statement seems self-serving, which not cool. Del Bigtree put this out. Said there are no double-blind, placebo-based, randomized controlled trials for the safety of childhood vaccines. They don't exist because the people responsible for them decided not to do them. Says he knows this because of 2017. Him and Robert Kennedy Jr., they sat down at the NIH with Francis Collins and Tony Fauci, and they asked them. They said we can't find a single placebo-based safety trial for any vaccine on the childhood schedule. Are you doing them, or are we just not seeing them? They told us they don't do these trials because they believe it is unethical to withhold what they consider a beneficial product from a control group. That is the logic. The faith that the product is so valuable that studying it rigorously would be unfair to the people in the trial not getting it, so they never study it. That's insane. Every vaccine given to every child in America rests on an assumption of safety and nothing more. There's no evidence. They've never been allowed to look into it. D&I Gabbard, she's revealing major stuff when it comes to the laboratories that we have been funding, we have been involved with, and this is part of her final disclosures on her last days.
After months of searching through intelligence community holdings and files, today I'm releasing new evidence of long-standing U.S. government funding of more than 120 biolabs in over 30 countries. Now, these biolabs include labs in places like Ukraine, which could be at risk of compromise due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. In fact, the intelligence community had previously warned that a U.S.-funded biolab in Ukraine likely housed dangerous pathogens and remained vulnerable to long-standing threats of Russian attack, seizure, or damage. Now, until now, evidence regarding the full existence and funding of these laboratories had been knowingly withheld from you, the American people. Many of these U.S. government-funded biolabs are currently or have previously engaged in research using hazardous and highly contagious pathogens, and in some cases included dangerous gain-of-function research with very little visibility or oversight. Now, President Trump clearly understands the serious threat dangerous gain-of-function research poses to the American people. And this is why he took decisive action over a year ago. On May 25th, 2025, he signed an executive order to end federal funding of gain-of-function research around the world. Here at ODNI, I issued new guidance to the intelligence community directing increased collection on these laboratories and facilities overseas. And we're already seeing the results of this increased collection. We're learning new details, for example, on clinical trials that are underway at these facilities and that are raising significant ethical, financial, and security concerns regarding the supposed public health initiatives and U.S. national security. Now, despite the obvious potential for catastrophic global impact that research on dangerous pathogens in biolabs can have, politicians and so-called health professionals like Dr. Fauci, as well as entities within the Biden administration's national security team, lied repeatedly to the American people about the existence of U.S.-funded and supported biolabs. Not only did they lie, they threatened those who attempted to expose the truth. So this release today breaks new ground, as the information surrounding the existence, history, locations, and funding of these U.S.-funded biolabs has been intentionally covered up by very powerful people who falsely claimed that these biolabs didn't exist. Now, they accuse anyone who says otherwise to be foreign assets and traitors to America. Now, Odie and I will continue working closely with partners across the U.S. government to identify exactly where these labs are and what pathogens they contain to end dangerous gain-of-function research that threatens the health and well-being of the American people and people around the world.
That is craziness, right? I mean, and it's so true. Anybody that came out and tried to say otherwise, you're a Russian disinformationist. The name calling thing is just so insane. Texas, their first screwworm calf has been fully recovered, been cured. A guy popped on my show last night. He's talking about it. Yavika, his name, anyway. And he's talking about how they get a thing like a coat hanger, and they reverse thread the thing and then pull them out, I guess, that way. And then you got to, of course, treat the wound and help the animal heal. Anyway, so there is a way to treat these things. They also talked about ivermectin being a part of that. TWC, the wellness company. Yeah, twc.health/OTF. Remember that. OTF code, twc.health/OTF if you want to have some ivermectin. Always. Marco Rubio kind of being funny, cracking people up, talking about how this fight, this UFC thing, which he, by the way, signed some stuff with Dana White. I think I've got that also coming up next. But he's cracking people up, talking about how all these leaders from all over the place want to show up. Might cause a problem.
I can tell you this is true, and I can tell you about your global reach because the president, I have another job and spend a lot of time at the White House. The number of foreign leaders that want to come to this is unbelievable. It's to the point where we may have a diplomatic crisis because it's we can't bring everybody. And so they follow, and some of them don't even have a fighter in the fight from their country. They just want to come because they are fans of the sport and they follow it. But to be honest with you, some of the countries that are represented in these fights, most Americans, because it's not their job to track this, have never heard of that country in their life. Have never heard about their country, have never heard about that person, where they came from, until they saw a fighter from that nation step into the ring. And between that and the bios that sometimes come with the profiles leading up to the fight, it is also educating Americans about cultures, societies all over the world. I can tell you this is true, and I can tell you about your global...
It's going to be wild, the fight. I mean, I'm not a huge fight guy, but I get it. I get the appeal. I definitely don't like watching chicks fight. That part I can't do, but I've watched some of the fights. That's, these guys are incredibly, so, the few times I've done anything along these lines, man, you are exhausted in about 14 seconds, man. It is brutally exhausting, and these guys are going at it for a while, so... Damn, incredible athleticism.
The White House is the people's house. It belongs to the people of the United States. The American 250 celebration belongs to the people of the United States. And there are millions and millions of Americans from all walks of life that are not necessarily attuned to politics or the financial markets or anything else, but they love the sport. And every Saturday, we got a big event once a month. They're tuning in and they're watching and they host it. For them to be able to see this event with their White House in the background as part of our celebration as a country in our 250 years, I think is a gift to the American people. That's what Sunday is about. It's a gift to the American people. They're going to see their White House in their capital on their nation's birthday, celebrating with a historic event. We could have had a band, and we have great bands. We could have done a Shakespeare in the Park production. There are a lot of things we could have done with it, but this one will have people watching, probably over, 1 billion people all over the world. 1 billion people all over the world will be watching America celebrate its 250th birthday with the White House in the background and some of the best athletes in the world in that octagon. And we're happy to be a part of that, and we're happy to be a part of all the things we're going to be working on together in the years to come.
And that's what the deep state so doesn't want, is Trump is this symbol of freedom for everybody, for the whole planet. Trump is... he is kind of larger than life. It frequently makes me think a funny question, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but it's just I frequently think this question. If Jesus were alive today, would people actually recognize him? And I honestly would say no. at least my understandings of who and what he is and where we are and how things are very different. I actually don't think a lot of people would recognize him. And it's funny because Trump, I'm not saying he's like Jesus, not at all. Don't get me wrong. But he is acting in similar fashions in many ways. And it's interesting from that standpoint when you look at it that way. And I always think the gold and white light too. I'm like, the dude loves gold. He loves his gold. It's interesting. Trump strikes down a deal to deport Iranian migrants to Central Africa. Trump administration deporting Iranians to Africa because Iran's not our friend right now or something? Don't know. But he's like, we're getting rid of these motherfuckers one way or the other. You want to take them? No? Okay, cool. We'll drop them off in the middle of the fucking Sahara. All right, hand him a little like a GoPro and be like, all right, you're filming the next John Wick. We'll come and get you in a day. And then just like drive away for good. And they're out there trying to be, ready for the next John Wick movie. Russian forces in control of eastern part of Konstantinovka. Of course, yeah. Anyway, the whole area that is left that needs to be dealt with and then the war can end is almost dealt with. Russia's got very little of it that it actually needs to grab anymore at this point. This is the whole Donbass and it's actually where are they? The Donetsk and the Kramatorsk, right? Those, I guess, some weird area where they kind of come together. And this is, we've got Trump, Russia's got to get control of this, and Ukraine was kind of holding out there. Once that's taken care of, it's done. This is the last bastion that Russia needed. So really, if Ukraine just pulled out of there and let Russia have it, the war would be over. But they don't, because they so desperately need this war to continue because of how much money they were funding through it, how much money they were funding through Iran, how much money they were making through Lloyd's of London doing what they were doing. All of that is over. It's not only just checkmate, it's checkmate like they keep trying moves and it's like, that's checkmate. Try this, checkmate. Yeah, I know. You're not going to make it. They have no money. They're running out of options. They are starting to get panicky. That is why the biggest concern, why there are so many drone sightings, is they are looking for the nukes that they know they want to do. They want a sum of all fears moment, and they're going to have a hard time even pulling that off anymore, especially if we get the dust back. We'll try to blame it on China. That's all that's left. Maybe Israel, but there's a little bit of the fighting going on. I mean, the guy's just blown away on his machine gun. It's like their equivalent of a M60. I don't know. I forget what it's called. It's actually one I like to use when I'm doing like Call of Duty and shit. This gun's awesome. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites, man. It's a drum fed. It's just it's so stable. It's actually got pretty low recoil. It's a great gun. Anyway, I mean, in the game, I don't know about real life. I have no idea. M60 is powerful. And it's fun to use too, but it's just got a lot more. Anyway, whatever. Stupid. Fiber optic control. They're just talking about how they're using a lot of these drones in Russia right now. And it kind of shows how they attack. This is, if you think about the standpoint, so loud. If you think about the standpoint,
don't you come back no more.
Yeah, apparently this is the car. Boom. That's it. So there is you just think about how like a drone could like, I mean, for me, I just think about how one could just be floating right outside my window. Like I'd be like, oh man, like the world's changed. It would be very hard to try to hide completely if you think about it. Very strange. Scott Bessent pulls trigger on using frozen funds to reimburse Gulf allies. So if you guys do anything crazy, we'll pull it from your money. If you cause damage elsewhere, we'll pull it from your money. So I don't know, this is, I think, a little older as far as the threat that he's made, but nonetheless, it's continuing. And this is like, we'll continue to do this. You do anything at all during this process, IRGC, And this was what will happen. New Delhi's pissed. India basically is pissed because I guess 3 of their sailors died on this ship that we probably gave them multiple warnings, and they didn't take heed. So apparently 3 people died in the process. They're pissed. They called our representative to come talk to them. I don't know. We'll maybe appease them with something stupid. 100 goats. I don't know what we would give them, frankly. Probably not goats. That doesn't really feel like an Indian thing as much. But I think they eat goat, maybe. Right? They don't eat, what was it, beef? Cows are a lot of their religions, they're very sacred. Cows are sacred. Like, they're more sacred than people, believe it or not. It's kind of crazy. But, yeah, they love the cows. Don't eat them. Mm-mm. Polls turn against Netanyahu. It seems he's losing some of his favorability. People are tired of his big ears, I guess. We'll see. I don't know how much of that's true. It's a Chinese tabloid that's sharing the information. What was this? Full force of law. So, yeah, the British Prime Minister is threatening all the people in Belfast right now that are very pissed off. And, again, they're trying to spin it like it's not what we think it is, because what we think it is actually kind of righteous. And so it's not that. It's something that's not righteous. We're still trying to figure out how to sell that exactly. But, yeah. Same thing with this Austin Metcalf thing. It's like, well, yeah, he stabbed him, but that was a misunderstanding. So it was totally righteous, right? And everybody's like, you're going to have to go back to the drawing board on that one, I think. I don't feel like that one's connecting with the viewer, if you will. Who knows? New Pakistani strikes in Afghanistan kill 13 civilians, they're trying to say. This sounds like another deep state attack. Pakistan's helping us. I know they are considered assholes to some. I think I got an Aussie friend that gave me an earful on them, so they're not real fond of the Pakistanis. I know the Indians hate Pakistanis. They hate each other. It's really weird how strong. That's like, I think one of the strongest hates I've ever seen is those two. Maybe Palestinians and Israelis. I haven't really ever seen that per se, but yeah, I've known a couple Pakistani people. Again, lovely people. I have no qualms with people in general. I get along with everybody for the most part. Unless they ask me if I like Trump or not, and then it just fucks things up. This is a baked potato in the sky. New UFO files are out. So anyways, baked potato in the sky. Looks like a balloon. I don't know. These are shit pictures is all I can say. Shit pictures. There's a bunch of shit. People will dig into it. We'll find out later. I didn't go. I got other things to do as well. But the pictures is what I was curious about. Like, what shit pictures were they putting out? These are all shit pictures. Oh, fucking lights. Look at that. Lights. Everyone's seen fucking lights before. You've ever seen lights? You ever seen a light? Street light? Well, granted, they're flying street lights. I wish there were movement. Fucking dumb. So dumb. And then 1949. That's cool. That's getting after Roswell. Maybe there's something cool in there. Probably not. It's probably redacted. But remember, potatoes fly. So if anyone ever says, when potatoes fly, send them this fucking picture. Be like, well, shit, now is the time, it seems. That said, love you guys. I got an awesome music show coming up. We're doing Metallica, we're doing Motley Crue, we're doing Ozzy, and we're doing AC/DC. Doing a 4 for Friday, and it is good music. Hope you guys are ready to enjoy that. If not, just come listen to it after the effect. I have a lot of fun. We have a lot of really cool people. That's the reason being live is fun. Same general group, seems, on all 3 shows I do, but just a really good group of people. And if you're looking for people that you can vibe with and are super tight-knit behind the scenes, these guys are like all talking to each other and doing shows together. And so there's a lot of fun stuff going on. I recommend you try to be a part of it. Also, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, guys, we got our third Saturday of the week. And so that'll be fantastic, too. It's my chance to get to hang out with some of you guys. And that's where people go to onthefringe.locals.com. If you donate there, $5 a month, reoccurring. Unfortunately, you have to do it there. If you do it through Rumble, it doesn't show up the same way, unfortunately. I wish it did. Or if it does, it doesn't seem to. Anyway, whatever the case is. But do that. If you do recurring, you get invited at least. It's 1 o'clock Pacific time on Saturday, the third Saturday of the month, which is, again, not this coming, but the next Saturday. I'll talk about it maybe 1 or 2 more times. Not that I want the money. I just enjoy actually meeting you guys, and it's just an easy way to make sure doucheholes don't show up. Like, most doucheholes don't want to actually give me money and then be a douchehole also. But sometimes, who knows? $5 is not a lot to pay. All set. I love you guys. We're going to have a good end of this Friday, good end of this week, and next week, get ready, because prices are going to start changing. Oil's going to start going down. Things are going to start looking good, and then the next part of this needs to happen, which I'm going to assume is a summer of love. I don't know how they're going to get one fired up, because it's not working quite yet. They're trying so hard, and it seems to just keep flailing. So we'll see. We'll see. They're running out of time, that's for sure. All that said, we're doing this together. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.